It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and welcome to Mamas at Sunrise. We're up dead early on another marvelous Monday, and it's marvelous because you are up with us. My name is Mark Daniels, and I am your host this morning. It's the end of October, everybody. We can feel the shift in the season happening. Those cool winds are coming from the north. Everybody had their AC off this weekend, enjoying the fresh winter breezes. I don't want to call it too early, but Godfrey will have to tell us. But I saw the jackets out, I saw the toms out, and most importantly, last night, the sound of Junkanoo is in the air, and I can feel it. The year end is right there. We're so close. We're all pushing through, ready to get to December, to the break, to the end of the year, and most of all, Junkanoo season. I hope you had a great weekend, and a great week, and a great month. Couple of things we got to shout out. Shout out to the parents of Davriel's parents celebrating 40 years of marriage. I know that they were celebrating this weekend, and so congratulations to you and all of the things that have come out of that wonderful union. We're celebrating, we had Jonquil Jones. She won the WNBA championship, so we got to celebrate her. We think about those two persons that lost their lives in the plane crash in Ragged Island. Our heartfelt condolences go out to their family, friends, and loved ones. And we're looking forward to the month of November. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about Movember and what that means with regards to men's health. This morning we got Dr. Pinto on the show for urology care. We're also going to be talking in our legal brief segment with Miranda Adderley. There's been some discussion in the past week over hospice care and what we should think about when we're putting persons into care facilities. And so we're going to have a discussion on the legal matters behind that. We're going to be interviewing BAFSA, talking about our food, health, and safety and what they're doing to protect us here in the Bahamas and the foods and the agricultural products that we consume here on our shores. We're also going to be talking to Dr. Kenneth Roma. It's Aviation Week again, everybody. It's all things aviation, and so we're looking forward to everything that he has to share with us with regards to that schedule. And we're going to be looking back at our Exuma business outlook. Such a wonderful time together, talking about the economy of Exuma, what's coming down the pipeline. We recently were in Cat Island, and now we got Cat Island coming up. So we are all excited, and we're all jammed. It's Monday. You're with us, and we're going to find out what's happening with the weather with Brother Godfrey Burnside.
It's another day.
This is Weather at Sunrise.
Thank you, Mark, and good morning, Bahamas. And yes, in your first look at weather at sunrise, we have a strong high pressure to the north of the islands, and that's the point of very windy conditions across the islands. That'll be reinforced on Wednesday as a cold front moves through, and those winds will gust to gale force starting there, so it's going to actually produce some hazardous marine conditions throughout the remainder of the week. The weather today, we're looking at partly sunny, breezy and warm over the northwest and central Bahamas, partly cloudy and breezy with a few showers, maybe a thunderstorm over the southeastern islands, high temperature 87 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, we're looking at partly cloudy and warm, a few nighttime showers, particularly in the southeastern islands. You look going down to 76 degrees Fahrenheit. And some region highs and lows across the Caribbean. Barbados 1979, in Jamaica 93 and 80, in Trinidad 91 and 78, and the Turks and Caicos Islands 86 and 76. Across North America, Atlanta is 67 and 53, in Boston 52 and 43, in Miami 86 and 77, Dallas, Texas 86 and 69, and Toronto, Canada 56 and 51. As usual week, high pressure moves Reinforcing cold front moves into the islands on Wednesday, bringing with some showers and a possible 1-2 thunderstorms on Wednesday. Clears out by Thursday. High pressure built to those gale force winds, those winds blowing up to gale force, and some hazardous marine conditions. But for the most part, a nice weekend still weather-wise, except for Wednesday and Thursday, when we have a couple of clouds moving in along that from the boundary. Those temperature daytime will be in the mid-80s, at nighttime in the mid-70s. That puts you off when you first look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Godfrey. It is the month of November coming up, and we're calling it Movember, and it's all about men's health and the things we can do to raise more awareness and make sure that us men, them, take care of our health. This is our urology care segment. We've got a good friend, Dr. Pinder, with us. Good morning, and welcome back to Mamas at Sunrise.
It's always a pleasure. Good morning to my daughter, Gia. I must always say that if I want to go home in peace.
Drop the blood,
And good
right?
morning to the Bahamas, yes.
Yes. So Movember, tell us, what is it all about? How did it get started? And what's happening?
This is something that's been around worldwide. It's not just national, but worldwide for decades. It basically is a solidarity among men where we're going to bring awareness to men's health. Particularly, we're going to look at the topics of prostate cancer and testicular cancer, but we're talking about all health issues, non-communicable diseases, hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, coronary artery disease. So basically, we're trying to get a healthier you, a healthier me, a healthier nation in terms of all the men out there who are notoriously not going to pay any attention to their health. So we want to make sure that they're going to live longer, not only live longer, but have a better quality of life. And for men who think that their time is their time, think about their loved ones. Why are they going to put their loved ones through them going in and out of hospital? These are men who almost certainly don't even want to see a doctor once a year. So if you're going to let health issues build up, particularly many of them that have no symptoms until it's too late, you're going to be in and out of hospital for weeks, for months, sitting in the emergency room for hours, waiting to be seen, getting bloods taken all the time, imaging. You become an economic, emotional burden to your family because you haven't taken care of yourself from early on. So even from your teenage years, your 20s, you always have to be paying attention to good health, good health practices, making sure you get exercise at least 3 times a week. You want to make sure that you eat right, try to maintain a normal body mass index, because even obesity can make you be predisposed to many hypertension, diabetes, a higher risk of a more aggressive form of prostate cancer. So be aware of your own body. You know your body best. In terms of testicular cancer, we advise every man, even from early teenage, preteens, to examine their testicles in the shower once a month. They know what is abnormal and what is normal. Unfortunately, testicular cancer has a bimodal distribution. So even in their teenage years, you have a peak in their early 20s, and then it goes up when they're in your 60s. But they're young men, not even 20 years old, dying of testicular cancer, which is a tragedy.
It is a tragedy, and this is why Movember is so important. And so for those who don't know what
So
Movember is
essentially,
all about,
it's Movember. You just put the M instead of the N for November.
Right.
It's no shave.
No shave.
So basically, you want to know, why is all of a sudden this man not having a beard, a mustache? You say, you know what? I'm in solidarity. We're trying to put awareness to men's health, for my uncle, for myself, for my son, for my nephew. Let's make sure that if we don't get an annual physical, you haven't been there for years, this is the time to motivate women out there. Motivate your men to get an annual physical.
Women, you can't shave either.
Exactly.
Let your beard grow. I'm playing, right?
We have all the risk factors for prostate cancer, and I keep hammering that home. Prostate cancer has little to no symptoms until it's too late. So if you're waiting for symptoms, you're doing absolutely the wrong thing. And we have all the risk factors for prostate cancer. We're primarily of African descent. That is a very important risk factor. Longer we live, advancing age is a risk factor. We have a very high incidence of BRCA gene mutation, breast cancer gene mutation, which men can inherit. They're not even aware of that. That can exponentially increase your risk of getting prostate cancer. So if we can pick up prostate cancer early, just please at least get the blood tests once a year from the age of 40 and every year after that. Your chance of survival is nearly 100%.
There you go.
So it's the whole misconception that prostate cancer is a death sentence. You're going to kill your erections. You'll never be the same again. You're going to be wearing a catheter in a bag the rest of your life. Absolutely not the case. It's the opposite of that. We can minimally invasively cure your prostate cancer in a day. You'll be back to your life before the procedure like nothing happened.
This is going to be an important month. So are you gonna let the beard and the mustache go?
I'm going to do that.
We're going to see you. We got to get you back on by the end of the month.
Yes,
we got to see.
yes.
And I'm challenging.
I only need a couple days.
And I'm challenging all the men here on the set. All y'all, I see Chelly and everybody around there with their clean face. No. Everybody, I want to see beard, mustache. You got to let the hair grow back on top. Everything. Everybody down in the production studio, because this is an important conversation.
Too many men are dying needlessly. No one needs to be dying of prostate cancer.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have anyone dying of testicular cancer. If you feel anything abnormal down there, please seek a consult of a urologist. Better to be safe than sorry.
It is better to be safe than sorry. Just drop some of the stats about, us as men and what are our main health issues that we should talk about in these conversations.
Well, the main cause of death in our population for men is coronary artery disease, heart disease. So we have to be very diligent in making sure that we have a normal
Check out your heart.
body mass index.
Right.
We want to make sure that we get our annual physicals. If you are diagnosed with high blood pressure or diabetes, you take your medication.
Yeah.
And just because you're being diagnosed and you are diligent and you take your medication, doesn't mean the medication that you were first prescribed is the same medication you're going to take for the whole life.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need to adjust the dosage. Sometimes we need to add another medication. Sometimes we need to change that medication. When you're checking for your sugar, even if you're diabetic, if you only check in the morning when you're fasting, you're not going to give a clear picture of what is your sugar throughout the entire day. That's a very big misconception. If you just jump out of bed and take your blood pressure and you say, oh, it's a little bit high, that's
Track
when
it.
it's going to be at its lowest. You have to
track
take
it.
it throughout the day as well.
Yeah.
Blood pressure cuffs and machines that you use at home are notoriously unreliable. They're either 10 millimeters lower than they really should be in terms of accuracy. So please, if you go to a doctor and they have the $1,000 machines that are calibrated all the time, and that tells you time and time again that your blood pressure is high, accept it, take your medication, it can save your life. And for men, the motivation is if you can get those non-communicable diseases controlled, you can maintain your erections into your 80s.
There you go.
Let that be the motivation.
Let that be the motivation in Movember, everybody.
Yeah.
So when you see all of our clean-shaven men and walking around with hairy faces, you got the beards on, you got to have the conversation, you got to have the discussion. We thank you again for coming on the show.
It's always a pleasure. Let's try and save some lives.
Exactly, let's try and save some lives. We always appreciate you being on. And if anybody wants to find you, they can find you at Urology Care Bahamas and
Right.
at Princess Margaret Hospital.
Princess Margaret Hospital, Doctors Hospital, Oak Tree Medical Center, and Family Medicine Center of Lake Grove.
Thanks again for being on.
Thank you.
You're watching Mamas at Sunrise. Movember coming, everybody. Throw the razors away. Hairy face or nothing. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Ria Christina, and I'm super excited to be the new host of You and Your Money, local international banks that has actually been closing some of their branches. It actually gives me an opportunity to share my views, my take on the financial matters. Even when we think about what's happening globally, we still have a lot of work to do in terms of having to educate business owners as to the importance, the economic impact, and how it is that we can look at improving the Bahamian economy. $1 billion. That's how much we spend every year importing food in this country. It also gives me an opportunity to have conversations, and that's meaningful conversations with thought leaders within our community, even having to see how it is that we can work together or even the opportunities that may exist for many Bahamians. So I'm excited to be here and looking forward to the great conversations that's to come.
Our rich and vibrant cultural heritage, coupled with the infrastructural upgrades, necessary improvements to delivery of government service, and relatively safe communities, make our family island ideal places to live, visit, and invest. Because together, we will achieve more, and together, we are stronger.
Register today at tclevents.com.
When hurricanes and emergencies strike, timely information can save lives. That's why Alive Business brings you bulk SMS messaging, your essential tool for staying informed and safe. Imagine having critical updates and safety tips delivered right to your phone, anytime and anywhere. With bulk SMS messaging, you can send real-time alerts and updates and timely notifications. When every second counts, count on Alive Business bulk SMS messaging. For more information, contact the experts.
Hey family! Step into sophistication at Dash Designer Boutique, number 13 Parliament Street. There you find a wide array of colorful, elegant fashion for ladies. Shop brand name clothing and shoes such as McDougal, Badgley Mishka, Sam Elderman, Jeffrey Campbell, and Jessica Simpson. We've got you covered for the office, date night, red carpet events, and more. Also check out our stunning accessories. That's Dash Designer Boutique, number 13 Parliament Street. Open 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Have you ever thought about the safety of the food products that you put in your mouth, the things that come into the country, the things that you put in your cupboard? Well, we have a whole authority that protects us, and we're here to talk with them this morning. We have the Bahamas Agricultural Health Safety and Food Authority. Bahamas Agricultural Health and Food Safety Authority, BAFSA. I always mess that up. And we have with us Dr. Patricia Johnson and Kimberly Trowers to tell us all about their work. Good morning and welcome to Mamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
Sorry, I jerked your name right up. BAFSA, the Bahamas Agricultural Health and Food and Safety Authority.
The Food Safety Authority. You got it.
Just
remember BAFSA.
BAFSA. We're ready. So tell us, what is BAFSA all about?
Well, first of all, I just want to bring you greetings on behalf of our Board of Directors, Chairman, Executive Director, and everyone at BAFSA. We're so excited to be here. Okay, and so BAFSA is a regulatory body. We came about in 2016. Okay, but the staff came on in 2018, and what we're there to do is basically to regulate and enforce the rules and laws of the sanitary and phytosanitary agreement. Those are measures that will help us to ensure that our food is safe, okay, along the food chain. Now, we're representing the Food Safety and Quality Unit at BAFSA. And our responsibility basically is to regulate food along the entire food chain. Wow. Okay, from the farm to the fork. Nothing is left out. So we're looking at food safety issues, whether they be the quality of the water on the farm, you know, what the processor is doing, straight down the line. Everything has a role. Everyone has a role to play. Okay, because it's a shared responsibility.
That sounds like a big responsibility, right?
Yes, it is huge.
What does a typical day look like for a BAFSA officer?
Right now, a typical day consists of getting regulations together, responding to food complaints. So we do have customers who call us and say, I saw this at a supermarket, I saw this at a restaurant. So we are doing that. And right now it's all about training, and not just for our BAFSA inspectors, but for the sister agencies that we work with. Right. So that's a typical
who do you work with? Who else comes together to help protect our food?
Well, you have the Department of Environmental Health Services. They play a pivotal role in helping us to be able to do various inspections of food places. Of course, Customs plays a role because along with Customs, we're like buddies, you know, at the border. We're helping to protect, you know, all the food that comes into the country, and even through domestic trade coming from different islands as well. And those are just a couple.
So if I have a business, how do I work along with you, let's say, to make sure I'm in compliance and that my food is safe?
Well, first and foremost, that food business, whether you're a vendor or a manufacturer, you need to be registered with BAFSA. And coming very soon, we'll be launching an e-inspection platform where persons can go online, register their business, and then schedule an inspection for them to get their certificate of sanitation.
There you go. And then we're working along with the authority. Now, what if I'm somebody and I'm at a place, I'm at a restaurant, a supermarket, and I have a concern? What do I do? Or what are the things I should be looking for to be concerned about?
Well, you want to make sure that the place that you're going to is clean. The environmental hygiene of the atmosphere and everything is clean from the outside to the inside. You want to ensure that the persons who you're working with, you know, are properly clothed as well. Okay, and of course, if you have a complaint or anything like that, we want you to give us a call. You know, at 603-3260. You can also check us out on our website where you can issue, you know, your complaint online or what have you, or even on Facebook.
What are some I guess things we overlook when it comes to food safety, or things we take for granted?
Things we might take for granted would probably include the fact that the can that you pick up at the supermarket has a dent. Right.
That one cheaper, so I need to buy that one.
Right. But the problem is, when you have dented cans, you don't know how long that can has been dented for, and the interior of the can might be leaching into the food. That can cause you to get sick. And one other thing we tend not to check for is in our dry goods, like our rice and oats. There may be store product pests in there, aka weevils.
Yeah.
Right?
That's protein.
Those little guys. But you didn't pay your money to buy weevils, right? You paid your money to get good quality rice.
Nobody picked them out when they in the quad ones, put them away, right? But that's understandable. And I heard about an instance where, you know, let's say drinking from a soda top can, and just whether or not the surface of those are clean. And
oh, absolutely.
so is that the responsibility of the store owner?
Oh, absolutely, because sometimes in storage, if you are not careful to ensure that your facility is rodent proof, you can have these vermin come into your place and they can crawl over different things. And of course, you know, we would have had an incident where someone would have lost a limb or two because they would have, you know, consumed drink from a can where the urine was. And so we urge all businesses to ensure that they, you know, have their businesses enclosed properly to prevent any rodent activity, and also to have a regular pest control service or some type of pest control service, and also be careful to remove any garbage from the facility as often as need be, so to cut down on any rodent activity.
So
and we would encourage a consumer, when you have those cans, try to wash the top of your cans.
I would say channel the COVID time when you got into the house and you scrubbed down everything and you disinfected everything.
Just continue with that process.
So we understand how this benefits the consumer. For the business owner, what motivation do they have? What incentives do they have to be in compliance and make sure that their food is safe?
The motivation is that we are here to help your business grow.
Yeah.
We are here to help your business develop and to be better.
Awesome.
Right?
That's right.
So that is the carrot. What we don't want happening is the stick, which is the fines and the penalties, and we have fines that can go up to some astronomical amounts, $75,000 that is in our act. So it is best for food business operators to work with us in giving the public the safest possible food.
Well, I feel, go ahead.
Yeah, and also you don't want your consumers to become sick, because foodborne illnesses, you know, those things can be very, very bad. And of course, our hands are the greatest vectors in spreading that. And so you want to make sure that your business and your staff and everyone is well educated and understand how important it is to follow the basic food safety principles.
Well, we understand how important it is that you guys exist. The Food and Safety Authority, I ain't gonna choke up the name again. But tell us, how do we get in contact with you if we need to report anything suspicious or we have any questions?
Well, I think it's 603-3260 is our number. We're located at 99 Crawford Street. That's just off Davis Street, which is just off University Drive. So you're welcome. And we're on online, so you can easily find us. But just one more thing I wanted to say, you know, the other units will be coming on subsequently, you know, after us, and they will be talking more about this e-permitting. That's the buzz out there with BAFSA. We're very involved with that, helping people to be able to bring items into the country and engage in trade in a very seamless manner. It's a very new revolutionary process, and I think it's going well. And we'll talk about that at another time.
Oh, we love it. We like to hear all the exciting things you have going on, and we feel safer with you guys in town and doing the work. So we thank you for being here on the show, and we look forward to speaking with you a little more about how you protect us in our food.
Okay, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
And good morning, Bahamas.
Good morning, Bahamas. They protecting us. BAFSA in the place, everybody. Food and Safety Authority. We'll be right back.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Man, I thought retirement would have slowed you down.
It's the island life, son. Living in paradise.
Must be nice. Can't wait until it's my turn, if that day ever comes.
My financial planner has provided me with solutions for my future. Pension, retirement, and even property management.
So who helped you with all this?
Let's go, son. 2 more miles.
What's Leno?
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
We know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
Good morning and welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're up dead early on another marvelous Monday and we're at the mid-show and you stuck with us. My name is Mark Daniels and we're having a great kickoff to the week. It's the end of October. November's right on the corner. We got cool weather coming down and we're just feeling so energized, looking forward to the end of the year. And we're just being thankful and grateful because a lot has happened this year and you are here, and with this life there is hope. Make sure to spread happiness and joy around and be gracious to one another as we walk and drive around the streets of the Bahamas, because that's what we got to be, our brother's keeper. We enjoyed our first couple of segments. Remember, the month of Movember, so got to grow your mustache and beard. Godfrey, I'm looking forward to seeing your full face of hair when you come on in the next couple of weeks, because we as men, we got to stick together. We have to make sure that we're looking out for our health, physical health, mental health, emotional health, and spiritual health, all realms. So make sure, Movember, throw away the shaver. Everybody on the set going to be hairy. And we enjoyed our discussion with BAFSA and how they operate as a food and safety authority and how you should be in contact with them if you feel as though there's a place or a restaurant that might be a little concerning, or if you are a business owner looking to make sure you're in alignment and in compliance. Looking forward to the second half we got coming up. Going to be talking to Dr. Kenneth Roma about Aviation Week and everything going on in the aviation industry. We're going to be looking at our previous segment with the Exuma Business Outlook and everything good that's going on in the Exuma economy. But let's find out what's happening with weather with Godfrey Burnside.
This is Weather at Sunrise.
Thank you, Mark, and good morning, Bahamas. Just a second look at weather at sunrise. We do have a broad area of low pressure that's expected to form in the southwestern Caribbean Sea late week or the weekend. Could become a tropical depression by weekend as it moves towards the north. It has a 40% chance of development, and we're asking Bahamians to monitor this very closely through the weekend. In your marine forecast today, we do have an advisory posted because of some hazardous beach marine conditions across the islands. Winds today northeast to east at 15 to 25 knots, seas 5 to 8 feet over all the islands. On Tuesday, they become northeast to east at 15 to 25 knots, seas 6 to 9 feet northwest and central Bahamas, 20 to 25 feet, seas 7 to 10 feet over the southeastern islands. On Wednesday, northeast to east at 20 to 25 knots, gusting to gale force, seas 7 to 10 feet. Your tide, just out of high tide at 5:51 this morning. Your next low tide will be at 4 minutes past midday. High gain this evening at 6:04. Sunset, 6:30 this evening, rising one 7:16. UV index 8. Your water temperature 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Honeymoon phase, last quarter. Your external look, we do have a reinforcing cold front that moves through sometime on Wednesday, bringing a couple of showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm across northwest on Wednesday. Thursday across the central islands should fizzle out by the end of the week. Then that high pressure builds with the windy conditions, gusting the gale force. So we have a special marine outlook out for you for the next several days across the island, acting smoke off or to remain in port during the next several days. Otherwise, the temperature we're looking at partly sunny skies for northwest and central Bahamas, becoming partly cloudy by the middle of the week, with a couple of showers along that frontal boundary. Temperature daytime will be in the mid-80s, at nighttime in the mid-70s. That puts a wrap on your final look at weather sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Godfrey. Today we introduce a different type of segment. It's going to be called Legal Brief, where we have two of our friends, two attorneys at law. We have Miranda Adley and Khalil Parker in the place to talk to us about the hot topics of what's happening in the Bahamas and to give us a little legal advice. Good morning and welcome to
Good
Bahamas at
morning.
Sunrise.
Good morning.
I'll take the opportunity. It's called Law Matters. But thank you.
There you go. Law matters.
Yes.
So tell us, why are we here talking about law first thing in the morning on a Monday?
Well, I think that the reality is law does matter and it affects people in their daily lives. And no what better way to start the day than learning about your rights and your recourse in the eventuality that you find yourself in a situation that is beyond your personal skill set.
So you both are here representing a group of...
The Bahamas Bar Association. We're sponsoring this segment, which will be led by my colleague, Miss Miranda Adley. I'm just here as a start off.
There you go. That's a great start. So tell us, what's happening in the Bahamas that we should be thinking about right now in terms of law? What's some hot topics?
Well, I know everyone is discussing this issue that's gone viral concerning elderly care, based on the story coming out of Grand Bahama with Miss Murphy Knowles and the Home Away from Home senior care facility is. So we just wanted to touch base on how we could give a little bit of advice to the public regarding these types of situations. If you do find yourself where you have a senior citizen in the home that you're unable to provide that care for, and you want to look at maybe registering them or admitting them into one of these facilities, things that you can do as precautionary measures so that you don't end up in a similar situation.
Right. So let's paint the scenario.
Yes.
I am taking care of an elderly relative that I am directly related to. Maybe I'm a direct descendant of. So maybe my mom, my grandmom, father, grandfather, and they need to go into a facility because unfortunately I am unable to take care of them. What's step one?
Well, I would jump in there. I would say that you would approach the situation, you know, when you have children getting ready for school, everybody wants to go and vet to school. You want to attend and look and see what the curriculum is. You want to check the campus out. You want to meet the teachers. I think you have the same level of vigilance, even greater, one would say, for our precious pearls. And you'd approach it from that perspective. But I'll turn it back over to Miranda again.
Yeah, well, my advice would be that definitely go and see a medical professional in terms of getting a full workout of your loved one, physically, mentally, just so that you know what the baseline is of that person's physical and mental health at the time that you are considering admitting them into a home care facility, so that there can be no dispute about what their mental state was at the time of being registered, let's say, in a facility like that, so that if there is a history of Alzheimer's or dementia or some proof that they don't have the right mental capacity to sign off on certain documents or make certain decisions on their own, you would have proof of that. The facility would have proof of that, and you can give them, the medical records to keep on that person's file, so that automatically you already know that this person does not have the mental capacity to do certain things.
It's also important when you transfer the care of your loved one to somebody else that you understand their state, so you can assess things like deterioration or improvement.
Right.
We speak life and we speak hope. But also when you are entering into a transaction like that, you want to start from first principles.
Right.
You look at the contract, you look at what their services are, you look at what your rights are in terms of visitation and custody, so that there's no question when I turn up to get Grammy or to take her out for lunch or to take her out on her birthday. So you understand the relationship between yourself and the home. So as a legal principle, you want to make sure that you know your rights, you know their responsibilities, so that there's no confusion in the case of a dispute when rowdy come, as Bahamians like to say.
So when you're doing your due diligence, what are some, I guess, flags? Or
you want to make sure that the facility is licensed by the regulatory authorities. You want to make sure that they have the proper utilities, access, and you want to look at the qualifications of the people who are handling your loved one, so that if they are representing that there's nursing care, you want to make sure that those people are licensed. You want to make sure that the necessary skill sets for the particular needs of your loved one would be met at this facility, not just a room and bread and water. You want to make sure that they have a stimulating course of care.
Yes.
So, and I've been hearing this term power of attorney. So let's create a scenario where you've done your baseline on your loved one. They don't have the mental faculties to make certain decisions.
You have to be very careful there. If somebody doesn't have the mental faculties at the time you are discussing this, the question of a power of attorney, we have moved beyond that. In order for me to give you a power of attorney, I have to have the capacity to appoint you and to designate you. So you would want to look at I would prefer that you approach the question if they are beyond that stage, that you look at guardianship, which is a court process.
So let's line it up. So how do we get to the point of power of attorney?
Well, you want to see if the person has the mental capacity. If the person has the mental capacity, then they're able to execute what's called a power of attorney.
Okay.
And a power of attorney can then outline what you are giving this person the rights to do on your behalf. So it's not just a power of attorney. You have the right to sell everything that I own. You have the right to take everything out of my bank account. The power of attorney can actually go through certain steps to say what I am giving you this power for, how long I'm giving you this power for. It's not just a blanket power of attorney. And again, the doctors would have to then say, yes, this person's in a state of mind to execute that. They have the mental capacity to appreciate what they're giving power to. If they are beyond that point where it's deemed that they're not mentally, in the state of mind to execute that kind of document, then we'd go to what Khalil has mentioned, which is a guardianship application, where you then go to the courts and you say to the courts, this person has been deemed not of a mental capacity to handle their own affairs anymore. And as such, you prove your relationship, to this person, or why you would be considered a right person to take care of this person, him or her. And then based on the court's determination, social services is involved, doctors are involved. Then they will determine, yes, this person can no longer take care of themselves, does not have the mental capacity, and this person should be considered the guardian of this person. And then the guardian can make all decisions, whether it's banking or paying bills or
subject to judicial supervision. What I'd also say is, again, I like to begin with first principles. You would like to consider before you try to make these decisions or think this out, think this through, map it out before your loved one gets into that position. You want to think about, and then this is not just for the family, but this is also for our aging population. Consider, you can see, we don't get to choose how we enter this world, but consider how you want to manage that process of aging and take the steps that you would need to protect yourself on advice.
And the last thing I will ask is, if I am a person who is considering turning over or having a power of attorney, who should I pick? Like, what's the standard I'm looking for? Like, does it have to be a family member?
It does not have to be a family member, but what I would say is, just like I encourage people to have a personal physician, have a personal dentist, find a personal attorney that you build confidence with while you are in charge of your own affairs, form a relationship, and take advice. One of the fundamental elements of this segment is to make sure that people understand that a lawyer is a part of the bundle of resources that you have as you navigate the lived experience. So we say, have a lawyer, get a lawyer, not necessarily somebody who's here. We any member of the bar who you form, in good standing, who you form a relationship with, and get to know them and pick and choose and refuse, and then take advice. That's the best thing.
I think this is great advice. I feel like I'm going to get a bill at the end of this segment. But I appreciate you both being here. Law does matter, and I appreciate this discussion. I've learned so much. We look forward to having you back on the show again so you could learn me some law.
Yes.
And so thanks again. If anybody wants to get in contact with you, how do they find you?
You can email us at info@bahamasbarassociation.com.
Awesome.
Or 393-3220 is the bar office. You can ask for Miranda Adley on law matters.
Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you for having
Bahamas at
us.
Sunrise.
Yes.
You're on Bahamas at Sunrise. Law does matter. We'll be right back. African Things is your one-stop shop for everything African. Make a bold fashion statement with vibrant colors and intricate patterns inspired by the beauty of Africa. Find trendy contemporary looks for every occasion and enjoy custom tailoring. Shop jewelry, purses, art, cosmetics, and much more. African Things is located in the Dugard Plaza, Palmdale, next to McDonald's. Open Tuesday to Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come get your African Things.
One thing, two things, little thing, old things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
The Euro device is very affordable. It allows you to increase your internet connectivity. You are able to do away with the buffering, say goodbye to the dead spots. It gives them a much more stable connection. Their customers are able to view their digital menus. The establishment is able to stream. It allows for everyone, the customers and the business operators, to have a much more robust and stable internet connectivity.
Our rich and vibrant cultural heritage, coupled with the infrastructural upgrades, necessary improvements to delivery of government service, and relatively safe communities, make our family island ideal places to live, visit, and invest. Because together, we will achieve more, and together, we are stronger.
Register today at tclevents.com.
Welcome back. Aviation Week is here again, everybody, and we've got our good friend Dr. Kenneth Roma here with us to talk about everything that's going on with airports and the wonderful Aviation Week. We're so excited he's here on the show. Good morning and welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. It's always a great thing being in great company.
Here we go. So Aviation Week, here we are another year. What do we got going on?
For the first time last year, the Prime Minister of the country declared the fourth week in October as Aviation Week.
Yep.
We had a wonderful time last year, but we're taking aviation now to new altitudes, new heights. So this year we're celebrating the second annual Aviation Week, and this is going to be a memorable time for the country and also for our aviation stakeholders from Latin America and throughout the Caribbean. So this year takes on a new look, more refined look. We're celebrating under a theme, a celebration of aviation partnerships. And partnership is what is really making aviation the model for the region. So we started off Aviation Week with prayer.
Yep.
Okay, so all across our country, all of our aerodromes, some 30 airports across the country, again, our persons praying for the safety of aviation. Last week we had another cohort of service excellence ambassadors.
Yep.
So we're making aviation training available, service aviation training for all of our frontline workers, over 4,000 in aviation. And today we kick off, as a part of Aviation Week, the ALTA Conference. Now this is the Association of Latin American and Caribbean airlines and aviators. Over 400 persons have come into our country to celebrate with us as a part of Aviation Week. They gathered at Bahama. The Prime Minister is going to be delivering the keynote address tomorrow. The President of Alta is here, Boeing is here, Avianca is here. The big names in aviation, the movers and the shakers, the decision makers are in the country. And it speaks again about the level of respect. They're noticing the Bahamas. The world is noticing the Bahamas and what we're doing in aviation. So we're having the Alta Conference. I am very, very excited about Thursday. For the first time in our country's history, we're celebrating our aviation stakeholders in an awards and recognition luncheon, over 200 at Bahama, all of our stakeholders. Our promotion boards, our FBOs, our air operators, our airlines. You'll find folks coming in from the islands, from the United States. But on Thursday evening, for the first time again, we're making history. We're having our Aviation Honors Awards. Her Excellency, the Governor General, will be presenting medals and also trophies and plaques to over 50 persons, the movers and the shakers in aviation over the past 51 years. It's a wonderful week for aviation. We're supporting breast cancer on Thursday. We're having our wellness fair. Again, we are looking at our emerging aviators. We are launching again our aviation cadet program, our first ever aviation cadet program. You'll see those persons coming out on Thursday. It's a wonderful week again for all things aviation.
I was going to say, and thank you again. It's a exciting week. It's a comprehensive week. You talk about the relationships in the region and the partnerships. You're celebrating those already in the industry in the Bahamas, and then facilitating the new generation of aviation professionals. So who should come out and be a part of this week, right?
Aviation is everyone's business. Okay, so we're going to be under a hashtag this week, I Am Aviation. Over 4,000 persons really are directly employed in the aviation ecosystem. When you multiply that, the amount of families and passengers, we have tens of thousands of persons who depend on aviation, again, not just to contribute towards their family's income, but to contribute towards our national economy. Tourism is our lifeblood. Aviation is the oxygen. That's what our Deputy Prime Minister always says. Without aviation, there are no heads and beds. We're driving stopover arrivals. Without aviation, our archipelago cannot be connected. Our port of entry without aviation is going to impact our customs and our immigration, our U.S. Border Patrol. Without aviation, you would probably minimize the impact of persons in the Air Accident Investigation Authority, your airport authority. We're looking at your Bimini Airport, your major construction projects, your Bahamas Air, your Civil Aviation Authority, your NASA Development, your NASA Flight Services, your airports, again, to what our family islands. So aviation, again, is important. Everybody should celebrate. We're going to do some live streaming on Thursday. The media is going to provide a lot of details as it relates to activities persons can become a part of. But we're wanting persons to tune into our live stream, to tune into, again, to our social media handles, and to celebrate all things aviation.
If somebody's watching this and they're thinking about getting into the aviation industry, where do you begin? How do you start? I guess coming out this week, right?
It's coming out this week. You will find out that aviation is in the blood of many persons. I see persons 3 and 4 year olds, they want to become a pilot, they want to become a pilot. And I'm saying the parents keep monitoring that because once persons have the aviation bug, it stays in their system. So if persons go to our DOABahamas.com website, they can look for opportunities to have the emerging aviators engage. We're launching for the first time in our country's history the Bahamas Aeronautical Academy. We must be intentional about training the next generation of aviators. So we're starting in our high school, CV Bethel, Temple Christian, have the cadet programs. We're moving throughout the family islands, targeting aviators. We're launching our college fair. We're signing MOUs with major universities, Middle Tennessee State University, Qatar Aeronautical Academy, Embry-Riddle, and many more this year. So we're making it possible for persons to not just become involved in aviation, but for ongoing training and development for existing aviators.
Fantastic. Maybe I'll start taking up some courses and get myself in the cockpit one day, right?
We'll take you.
I love it. I love it. So remind everybody where they can get information about this week if they want to join in with some of the wonderful activities you have going on.
If you go to the DOABahamas.com, that's Department of Aviation, Bahamas.com, website, there's a QR code also I'll share with you. They can just click onto scan the QR code, and it will open up the doors and give them a seat in the aviation cabin.
I love it.
But if they go onto our website, DOABahamas.com, we'll post the information, and they could plug themselves into any of our public activities. But it is a marathon, not a sprint. So it's ongoing activities for the rest of this year into next year's Aviation Week.
Well, we look forward to all of the wonderful things you have on the calendar, continued successes, continued partnerships throughout the region, and showing the world that the Bahamas, we might be small, we got plenty to offer and plenty to
Number
teach.
one for aviation in the region and in the world. We become I call the global exemplars of aviation in the region and around the world.
I like that. And thank you so much for being in again this morning, our good friend, Dr. Kenneth Roma. Aviation Week is here, everybody. Thanks for being in on Bahamas and Sunrise.
Thank you.
You're on Bahamas and Sunrise. You're watching Bahamas and Sunrise. Dr. Roma is on. We'll be right back.
Our rich and vibrant cultural heritage, coupled with the infrastructural upgrades, necessary improvements to delivery of government service, and relatively safe communities, make our family island ideal places to live, visit, and invest. Because together, we will achieve more. And together, we are stronger.
Register today at tclevents.com. The 18th annual Exuma Business Outlook was held on Thursday, October 17, 2024 at the beautiful Grand Isle Resort and Residences. This significant event united prominent figures from various industries to discuss the developments, challenges, and future direction of Exuma. A highlight of the event was a panel discussion that delved into the infrastructure challenges facing Exuma.
The biggest challenge is funding. Funding for infrastructure. We operate 80 water systems in over 25 islands and keys throughout the Bahamas. And so to fund that infrastructure is a heavy task. The second item that's a good thing for Exuma is growth. Typically, we project 3% growth in average per annum in the family islands. As you heard, tourism, 20% growth. And so what happens is, with unexpected growth, when we forecast for 20 years, and that growth happens in 5 years, then that puts stress on the infrastructure to respond to that. And you can't build a water system overnight. And obviously, the final one, power. And my colleague here, I want to congratulate her on a new appointment. And we continue to work together to solve those power issues. And I'm sure she's going to speak to that more. And so, as far as sustainability, we look to redundancy, backup generation, extra size lines, and obviously responding to some of the older developments or infrastructure such that we make our system as redundant, and even the efficiency in saving leaks, non-revenue water is a big thing.
We know that power is critical to every person in this room, every business. And one of the things that I had promised Exuma, I think at my first business outlook here, was that we were bringing in additional rental generation, which we have, which is a short-term solution to the generation challenges previously faced on the island. As with water and sewage, our primary challenge is funding as well, and aging infrastructure. So the Exuma's power grid is well over 20 years old. And so it requires significant upgrades to move us forward. But the government of the Bahamas and BPL is committed to seeing those upgrades.
Funding is our main issue that we do have. However, we being Cape Bahamas group of companies, we are currently working with an investor to get additional subsea line to the Exuma throughout the Keys. That's a project that has started. We have started the groundwork, we're laying it on. Unfortunately, we do not have a completion date. Again, we're waiting for funding with our investor, but we have started that groundwork for it. So once we have that here within all the Exuma Keys straight down to the mainland, we'll be able to better serve you guys as the community, as a commercial customers. We'll be able to add additional products and services to you guys so that you can, as Ms. San said, that you can keep up with the growing infrastructure that's happening, growing investment that's happening within Exuma and the growing challenges, and be able to have a more IoT environment within Exuma. So we are currently doing that right now.
We are proud the extensions to the water system, both as far, and the DPM spoke it as well, as far as Baratari in the west, as far as the works we are doing currently in Georgetown, and of course the extensions down to Little Exuma, which would basically cover the entire length, the major arteries of the backbone infrastructure for Exuma. The work at Black Point is completed. All of the projects are substantively complete. One is at 80%, one is at 90%, and the other is at 95% completion. So soon, some will be on before Christmas. The final component of the system, south, I call it south, but Little Exuma would be early January at the latest, activated in stages. And so we're proud of the progress that we have been making in extending the water supply in Exuma. And it ties into our overall plan in that we seek to be a world-class water utility, and we are the primary provider of water throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Okay, so on the Alive side, so once we get that additional subsidy, we'll be able to have more capacity on our networks. We can add more towers. So what we're doing on a daily basis, we are looking at our KPIs, our key performance indexes within the Exumas. We recently built a tower in Storts Manor to help with coverage on that side. We're constantly looking at our trends to see where we need to improve, whether it's adding additional expansions or a new tower in that area. Now, with adding a new tower, outside of funding, our major issue is getting a land that someone is willing to lease to us. A lot of persons aren't favorable of the way that the tower looks. We do have different options of palm tree if needed, but again, we need to get that land lease, persons who actually have a conveyance to say that they own that land for us to build it. But that's something that we're constantly going through. We're actually looking at some areas down south of Exuma right now. But again, once we get that land and funding and approval, we can go ahead and continue expanding on so we can be able to better address you guys and serve you guys. But that's something that's completely ongoing. It's weekly, monthly. We have check-ins every other week as a bi-weekly check-in to see how each island is doing. Any expansions, can we adjust the power to be able to push more coverage to you guys? So it's something that's it's consistently ongoing, and we're going to keep doing that until we get the best coverage for you guys.
As many of you know, the Ministry of Energy and Transport has rolled out the Energy Transformation Plan for the Bahamas, which involves the integration of LNG as a replacement fuel to heavy fuel oil and diesel oil, as well as the government of the Bahamas recently issued RFPs for microgrids, solar and battery microgrids on all of the family islands, as well as New Providence. And I'm pleased to say that Inti and Osprey were the winning bidders for the microgrid in Exuma. It is planned to be a 62-acre parcel of solar. It should be about 10.6 megawatts of solar, a 72 megawatt hour battery storage system, as well as 16.5 megawatts of LNG power generation. And that is going to be located in Georgetown, very close to our existing generating facility, which currently sits at about 17 megawatts. The peak load in Exuma right now is between 11 and 12 megawatts. So that will give you essentially over 80% of your generation from solar. The expected completion date is mid-2026. So we should start to see progress on that project in the coming months in terms of land clearing, groundbreaking, geotechnical surveys, etc. And I think that's a step in the right direction. It definitely reduces the amount of diesel that we have to transport here via boat. It has less emissions. So we're definitely moving towards sustainable, cleaner, greener energy throughout the Bahamas, and particularly in Exuma with your growing needs.
Housing was also a critical topic at this year's event, with Sonia Brown, Principal of Graphite Engineering, delving into the pressing issues surrounding climate change and housing affordability.
The Bahamas is very vulnerable to climate change. And so all the wonderful things we talked about today, they won't matter if we don't take climate mitigation and adaptation seriously. We don't contribute significantly to greenhouse gas emissions, but the entire country is considered a coastal zone. And we're seeing the impacts, all right? We know about the hurricanes, the warmer temperatures, warmer oceans, coral bleaching, that impacts everything, storm surge, sea level rise. So the focus of my study really was looking at affordable households and how it really is impacting them. And they experience the greatest impact when there's a hurricane. When you think of who's subject to loss of life, homelessness, and it impacts the entire community. We see flooding, they're impacted by the crippled infrastructure, and then we're all impacted by our increasing national debt. So we know we're a former British colony, and during the slavery, over about almost 200 years, if you were of African descent, you were considered property and could not own property. And following slavery, we entered an era of segregation where access to property and ownership was restricted because it was related to power and control and voting. So when we look at affordability, one of the challenges I face in my research is I was unable to find a definition of low to middle income housing in the Bahamas. So I had to define it, and I used the 2017 Labor Force Household Income Survey, where they provided the average household income of around $40,000. And so for the purpose of my study, I said any household that earned $40,000 or less, I would consider low to middle, and that means that what I'm studying impacts about 55% of the population. Now, in discussing housing affordability, we have two definitions that I chose to look at. One is UN Habitat, that says that the average house price should be no more than 3 times the annual household income. And prior to the International Persons Holding Act, that's where we were. It was actually about 2 to 3 times your household income you could find a house. For example, you could have found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, $50,000, $70,000, okay? And then the government of the Bahamas definition is as long as the costs are 30% or lower than the gross household income, the house is affordable.
That was a glimpse into some of the presentations and discussions from the 18th Annual Exuma Business Outlook. Be sure to stay tuned for the next event in the Outlook series, the Cat Island Business Outlook, scheduled for October 31st. Prime Minister Philip Davis is expected to deliver the keynote address. Don't miss it.
that is going to do it for us today on Bahamas at Sunrise. Wrapping up another marvelous Monday, and it's marvelous because you stuck with us to the end. We're kicking off a new week, closing out an old month, and starting the month of November, which is the best month of the year because it's my birthday month. It's also Movember. So remember, all the man them out there, throw away the shaver. We want to see the beards. We want to see the mustache, the goatees. We want to see everything nice and fluffed out. Men, we got to support men. Before we go, I want to send a special happy birthday to Father Patrick Adley. We see you, sir. Salute. Another lap around the sun. More laps, more stocks, as we would say. And just remember, we're going to be in Cat Island this week for the Cat Island Business Outlook. Cat Island, we coming! Plenty good things happening in Cat Island. It's a great week. We're so excited to start it off with you. See y'all on Friday.